Hey everybody, welcome to No Signal. Sorry, I'm a total amateur and forgot to mute my browser tabs. There we go. Hi, Coralina Emke here. This is my fabulous home studio in the Shambles of Chicago. Coming to you live from, like I just said. Today I wanted to do a little bit of prep for an upcoming Disaster Society performance. We're going to do 30-minute set with 5 new pieces. And Disaster Society is kind of a Imagine drone with percussion and samples. That's kind of the sound that we go for. So I thought we might start with some samples today. I managed to find something really interesting on the Internet Archive earlier today that I thought we might use. It is from a 1940 Soviet science propaganda film called Experiments in the Revival of Organisms. I'll let you hear a little bit of it.
I should like to tell you that I have seen some of the experiments shown in this film actually carried out at the All-Russian Physiological Congress.
So the experiments he's talking about include animating a severed head and bringing a dog that had been drained of blood back to life after 10 minutes. So amazing staging of these scientific experiments, and just what a delightful audio source to take some samples from. So let's dive right in and get some samples going. I'm in Isotope RX12 here, which is a great tool for processing sound. It's kind of my first stop. After I grab the audio, I bring it into RX12, and we're going to do some magic on it. First of all, I'm going to, and I do have a copy of this file, so it's fine if I do a destructive edit. So I'm actually going to, I'm going to delete the opening, which was just some, there we go, which was just the opening music. So we're going to start here.
I should like to tell you that I have seen some of the experiments shown in this film actually carried out at the All-Russian Physiological Congress. As you can imagine, technique is everything.
So there's a whole lot of noise on
Besides such work as you are about to see, Ryukhonenko shares the credit for the methods of human blood transfusion, which were first developed in the Soviet Union and are now practiced in this country, which have saved so many lives during the war.
All right, that's already a lot better. So we're going to go ahead and render that. Hello in chat, say hi. You can also change your name if you want. This is a 20-minute long audio file, so might take a minute to denoise. The algorithm is doing the algorithm thing. I wanted to show you today, I was going to work on the TR-08, which is a Roland boutique reissue of the famous 808 drum machine. And at the last minute, I had it working, I had tested it out and everything like that. And I just went back into Logic to see if I could get it, just to do a last test of everything. And I can't get any audio from it today, so sorry about that. Okay, back over in RX12. Let's hear our audio.
I should like to tell you that I have seen some of the experiments shown in this film.
And now we're going to do one more kind of denoise. Where is it? Spectral denoise.
I should like to tell you that I have seen some of the experiments shown in this film actually carried out at the All-Russian Physiological Congress.
Sounds lovely. You can see on the little graph there that there's no frequency above about 6K. That's a limitation of the recording devices that they had in 1940. Okay, it says we have about 2 minutes remaining. So what we're going to do is switch over to Logic, and I'm going to open up a project that we had going last week, which was a Sudder's violin piece called The Grasshopper Lies Heavy. All right, let's play this through. This piece started as just a sketch, and I believe it started with a minitar part, and I had an electronic drum kit going with the minitar, and I didn't like the sound of the electronic drum, so I replaced it with acoustic drum samples, and then it started to sound a little different, and I heard a piano part, and before I knew it, I had revived Sudder's violin and come up with a Sudder's violin song. So I did work on this a little bit in the interim, so let's give it a listen. You hear that minitar? That growly bass. Then we have these weird broken synths on top. And the piano again. Minute and a half left on our spectral broken synth comes back in. Check out that verse. Noisy whisper was coming from a custom patch that I developed called Redwood Whisper. The static verse, some of the pitches have suggestions of spectral voices. You hear it? like it. All right, switching back over to our audio edit. Let's give it a listen.
I should like to tell you that I have seen some of the experiments shown in this film actually carried out at the All-Russian Physiological Congress.
Sounds lovely. So I'm going to go ahead and save this, and I'll quit out of the program, and let me duplicate it. And I'm going to open this in a program called Fission, also by Rogue Amoeba, one of my favorite companies, I tell you. And what this is going to let me do is chop up the bits where the narrator is speaking and separate them from the bits where there's just silence. So if we just go to this random area here,
The isolated head even reacts to light and to sound.
all right. So let me zoom back out. All right, and this has a really nice feature. Called Smart Split, which will automatically detect the silences and the insert breaks. So we're going to tune it. And let's go ahead and add the splits and give them a listen. I believe this is the wrong file. What I'm going to do is run that in the background and go ahead and play a video for y'all. This is my friend Kevin B. Chatham. He does a new short film every 30 days with Group 312, and this is one of his latest. All right, welcome back, everybody. Sorry about the technical difficulties. I was able to resolve the file issue, and happily also at least temporarily resolve the 808 issue. So let's get back into this. So once again, the audio file with the noise removed brought into Fission, where we are going to auto split these segments based on where the silences are.
What enabled Soviet scientists to solve this problem?
Using auto split by detecting silences. So I'm going to go up to Tools, Smart Split, and we can see how it's breaking them up. I'm going to go ahead and insert the splits, and we're going to play through.
I should like to tell you that I have seen some of the experiments shown in this film actually carried out at the All-Russian Physiological.
All right. Just want to tidy these up a little bit. All right, what we're going to do is I'm going to save these out. Let's see how many we end up with. $101. All right, so now we're going to prune some of these out just for fun. Okay. So let's just grab the first, say 25. And I'm going to do a little off-screen magic here. Coming back into Logic. And we're going to drag the audio files into an audio track. And I'm going to say create new tracks. There we go. Let's move these into our samples folder. All right. So right now, when I hit play, everything's going to happen at the same time. Don't be alarmed.
Methods of human blood transfusion.
There we go. So let's turn this into a story, shall we? I'm going to zoom in just on our samples, and we'll start soloing them just to see what's interesting. Oops. Did not mean to solo all of them. Here we go.
I should like to tell you.
Okay.
That I have seen some of the experiments shown in this film actually carried out at the All-Russian Human Blood Physiological Congress.
Okay. Well, it sounds like those four belong together. And they sound like a great introduction to a sample-heavy song. Oops. Okay, so all together.
I should like to tell you that I have seen some of the experiments shown in this film actually carried out at the All-Russian Physiological Congress.
Nice. So I'm going to call this track intro. And let's see what else we have. Next in the queue.
As you can imagine, technique is everything.
Ooh, I like that. We're going to keep that one separated. Okay.
Besides such work as you are about to see, Ryukhonenko shares the credit for the methods of human blood transfusion, actually, which were first developed in the Soviet Union
Okay, not interesting.
and are now practiced in this country. What enabled Soviet science?
Here we go.
What enabled Soviet scientists to solve this problem?
Okay, we'll do a little audio repair. It's okay for now. We have Soviet scientists and pontificating about what makes them superior.
Long ago, science established the fact that animal organs and tissues isolated from the whole organism can be maintained in a living state.
Great, these go together. Giving them a listen all together.
Long ago, science established the fact that animal organs and tissues isolated from the whole organism can be maintained in a living state.
Okay, that one's good. What else do we have?
But in order to achieve this, special artificial conditions must be created. Isolated organs can be brought to life, even though they've been removed from the animal's corpse sometime after death.
Okay, these three go together. Let's see what else. Oh, here, those all together.
Isolated organs can be brought to life, even though they've been removed from the animal's corpse sometime after death.
Right. So now we have organs. Not that kind. What else do we have?
There's a dog's heart.
Dog's heart.
It can function as well in artificial conditions as in living organ.
Oops.
Living organism.
Okay, we have the dog's heart. We had some extra silence here, so I'm going to trim that. Okay, let's clean this up. There we are. All together.
There's a dog's heart. It can function as well in artificial conditions as in a living organism.
Great. We have a great start to our samples. I'm going to get rid of some of these extra layers that we aren't using anymore. Okay. So for now, we're just going to keep this first one.
As you can imagine, technique is everything.
Oops, not that one. This one. I'm going to mute all of these for now and just come in with what we have here. Okay.
I should like to tell you that I have seen some of the experiments shown in this film actually carried out at the All-Russian Physiological Congress.
Nice. So we're off to a good start here. We have our very, 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 very simple kick drum pattern, which I'm going to duplicate now. And actually, I was thinking that the drum might actually come in after we mentioned the dog's heart. So I think that was this one. So let's conjoin these twins and do something like that. And we'll do something a little more interesting with the drum kit once we get to this one here. So, starting.
I should like to tell you that I have seen some of the experiments shown in this film actually carried out at the All-Russian Physiological Congress. There's a dog's heart. It can function as well in artificial conditions as in a living organism.
Okay, so let's take just this section here and we'll go into our pattern designer.
There's a dog's heart.
Now, something I'd like you to see
is
that the sound you're hearing, the bass drum you're hearing, is actually from the TR-08 808 reissue. And we have the ability to dial in exactly the sound that we want.
There's a dog's heart.
There's that classic 808, right? And I don't want to do quite so much, but we'll go like that.
There's a dog's heart. It can
Feels
function
good.
as well in artificial conditions as
Let's
in a
make it a
living
heartbeat.
organism. There's a dog's heart. It can function as well in artificial conditions as in a living organism.
All right. Let another. Let's bring in technique is everything to finish off that layer. Let's hear it.
There's a dog's heart. It can function. I should like to tell you that I have seen some of the experiments.
Oops. Sorry, I forgot to mute that first a little bit here. Let me get that. There we go.
I should like to tell you that I have seen some of the experiments shown in this film actually carried out at the All-Russian Physiological Congress. There's a dog's heart. It can function as well in artificial conditions as in a living organism. As you can imagine, technique is everything.
All right, I think I'm going to bring in the Soviet scientists. And then the technique. Okay, let's try that.
I should like to tell you that I have seen some of the experiments shown in this film actually carried out at the All-Russian Physiological Congress. There's a dog's heart. It can function as well in artificial conditions as in a living organism. What enabled Soviet scientists to solve this problem? As you can imagine, technique is everything.
Great. And from there, the song begins with some stronger drums. Okay, a little complicated. I like it. It's time to bring in an instrument. I'm going to just go with a simple pad for now because I don't know what the song wants yet. So let's close that up. And what's a good key for us? How about D?
Technique is...
Let's give it a try.
I should like to tell you that I have seen some of the experiments shown in this film actually carried out at the All-Russian Physiological Congress. There's a dog's heart. It can function as well in artificial conditions as in a living organism. What enabled Soviet scientists to solve this problem? As you can imagine, technique is everything.
I think we have something. So let's zoom out a little bit. Give ourselves some space to work with. Disaster Society songs tend to be long, about 7 minutes. What I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate that drum track and then I'm going to loop it out to about, let's say about 5. We'll be conservative. Okay, here we go. Now I did like what the pad was doing. We had a little bit of movement. We went from D minor to C. So why don't we just play with that and improvise a little bit? The samples are going to run out. That's okay. Sample trimming and selection and scripting is a painstaking process that takes hours, and it would be very boring to do it live. So instead, why don't we play some music? I'm going to double that pad and mute my original. I like to keep a sketch of what came before, just so I don't lose it. right. Here we go. This is all improvised, so forgive any mistakes.
I should like to tell you that I have seen some of the experiments shown in this film actually carried out at the All-Russian Physiological Congress. There's a dog's heart. It can function as well in artificial conditions as in a living organism. What enabled Soviet scientists to solve this problem? As you can imagine, technique is everything.
Settling into a pattern here, right? So I think we can take that and do some looping. So let's go into our MIDI edit, our piano roll editor here. You can see there was some trepidation around some of the chords. That's okay. The main thing I want to do is I'm going to quantize to the whole note just to make sure all the timing all lines up nicely. There we go. I'm also going to quantize the velocity. Velocity means how fast the key was hit, and velocity is usually tied to how aggressively the sound comes on or how loud it's played. So in the case of a pad, I really don't want that. I want it to be kind of steady. And you can see what we have going on here. In the section here, we have this nice alternation between the D minor and the C. So we have a 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we don't need this. Oops. And then I want to focus in on that area there that repeats so I can cut it and turn it into a pattern. So we have those 4 bars. We'll split. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. Extra thing down there. Okay. So I believe this is good for looping. Oops. And let's see what we have going on over here. Okay, it's not so bad. Zoom back out. All right, now I'm going to loop this pad that many times. Oops. And then I'll bring in the beginning and we'll end up turning it backwards. It's okay. Let's actually play that. Let's play that outro live. I want to cheat. So this is going back to the D minor and starting big and getting smaller. So how I want it to end. Right, sounding interesting. So we don't want the drums to go too much past that, so let's end it right there. All right, let's hear the whole thing, see how it's coming along.
I should like to tell you that I have seen some of the experiments shown in this film actually carried out at the All-Russian Physiological Congress. There's a dog's heart. It can function as well in artificial conditions as in a living organism. What enabled Soviet scientists to solve this problem? As you can imagine, technique is everything.
Let's pick out a lead instrument just to mess around with. I'm going to go to my collection of messed up synth patches and see what we can find. Not it. That sounds good. Let's see what we can do with this. And we're in D minor.
I should like to tell you that I have seen some of the experiments shown in this film actually carried out at the All-Russian Physiological Congress. There's a dog's heart. It can function as well in artificial conditions as in a living organism. What enabled Soviet scientists to solve this problem? As you can imagine, technique is everything.
I like the way that's sounding. However, we need to make sure that we respect the chord change. So I'm going to go back and do that whole thing again.
I should like to tell you that I have seen some of the experiments shown in this film actually carried out at the All-Russian Physiological Congress. There's a dog's heart. It can function as well in artificial conditions as in a living organism. What What enabled Soviet scientists to solve this problem? As you can imagine, technique is everything.
Here comes the D minor. Doesn't really sound right with that. Let's try that instead.
I should like to tell you that I have seen some of the experiments shown in this film actually carried out at the All-Russian Physiological Congress. There's a dog's heart. It can function as well in artificial conditions as in a living organism. What enabled Soviet scientists to solve this problem? As you can imagine, technique is everything.
It's challenging, right? That C, I think, is a 7, right? Minor 7, so it works. Works against the D minor and the C. We'll do it one more, then we're going to loop it. Nice, I'm liking that. Let's go into our piano editor view. Make sure that we're just nicely quantized. Like to keep it neat and clean. Looks like our key technique was good. We have consistency in the velocity, so I'm happy with that. So let's go in and see what's happening as the other parts are coming in.
I should like to tell you that I have seen some of the experiments shown in this film actually carried out at the All-Russian Physiological Congress. There's a dog's heart. It can function as well in artificial conditions as in a living organism. What enabled Soviet scientists to solve this problem? As you can imagine, technique is everything.
Okay, so we have a break here, right? So let's insert a marker. So this marks the beginning of our loop. And we're going to go for 4 measures. But note that the pad came in kind of halfway through our pattern, right? So I'm going to cut here and 2, 3, 4. But our loop is going to start halfway through, which means that this one's going to go to there. We can cut this. We can conjoin these. Let me zoom out and let's cycle this. All right, let's give it a listen.
I should like to tell you that I have seen some of the experiments shown in this film actually carried out at the All-Russian Physiological Congress. There's a dog's heart. It can function as well in artificial conditions as in a living organism. What enabled Soviet scientists to solve this problem? As you can imagine, technique is everything.
Change that figure a little bit to fit more nicely with that D minor, but I like the sound palette. I like what's happening with the understated TRO8. I like the mix of the pad and that coiled synth. So I think we're off to a good start. I'm going to continue to work on this a little bit and cut up more of those samples. If I end up streaming next week, which is if we don't have Disaster Society rehearsal for the upcoming performance. Next time I stream and I come back to this, we'll listen to it with the samples placed and the sample instrumentation in place as well, and hear what that's going to be as a foundation for a future Disaster Society release. All right. I want to thank you for being with me today. This is my second time streaming from my own cast server. I would like to say a big fuck you to Twitch for ads, for dark patterns, and for now training AI on streamer material. Very happy to be on the Fediverse, very happy to be on my own cast server, and very happy to own my own infrastructure. It's great. Reminds me of the old time, the old web. Okay, thanks for being here again today, and we're going to leave you with a piece from last year called Soft, Driven, Slow, and Mad, a true story about Texas radio and reading the future in the static of a radio.
Did you know that you can hear lightning strikes and static between stations on an FM radio? You can tune into the storm. I was a kid when I first heard it. Each distant strike was like a snare from that one Clash song. Told me that radio waves travel at the speed of light. So I was hearing lightning strike from miles away. Seconds before the thunder had time to rumble at the window. It's like magic. Stations on an FM radio. I was tuned into the storm, and a voice broke through the static. I knew the singer and I knew the song. The last notes ring out across decades of neglect and abuse and scorn, and overplay. I can't remember what song it was. We could make something up to make this a better story. The Doors, This Is the End. For all the patricidal maniacs in the house. This is real life I'm talking about. This is a true story. It's like magic. It's like magic. Did you know that you can tell the future with the static between the stations on an FM radio? I was tuned into the storm, and the song faded into the DJ. The DJ gave the station ID. It was Texas radio. Just like Morrison had sung about. Signal from a distant desert by swamp. The voice was from 1,321 miles in my future.